Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. So I plan on putting out a lot of content with this Halloween event. I'm going to walk you guys through this as I go along and complete my journey, unlocking the challenges and the new weapons and all that stuff. I'm going to keep you guys with me, so hope you guys like these. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about the Hook Implant and the Gut Stitcher. So for this video, that is what I'm going to focus on, okay? So starting off, we're going to start out with, let's see, what was I on here? We're going to start off with the Hook Implant, okay? So the Hook Implant. So 200% chance to find implants, and then it gives you the ability to change your implants out in the inner city. So what that means is, let's say I'm on a speed setup right now and I run to where I want. Previously, I would have to barricade and then redo my implants. Well, now I can literally be in the inner city, get to where I want to go, bring up my inventory with I, and change from speed to damage. So that is great and all, right? We just did that in my last episode, but here's the problem. So I was using speed just like this. This is what my implants looked like. Let me show you. All right, I got to where I wanted and I switched to damage. Now there's my Hook Implant. Now my damage setup does not have my Hook Implant, right? What happened was, since I switched to my damage, I could no longer switch back because my implant's gone, right? It's on my speed setup. So what that tells you, what that tells you is my damage setup has to have my Hook Implant, or I cannot switch back. So once I switch to damage, I'm stuck that way. That is not what I want. So this brings me to the negative of the Hook Implant, right? So the Hook Implant, I have to put the hook onto my damage loadout, but I have to find what I'm going to get rid of. So the negative is I have to swap out a damage implant for a implant chance find implant, which is not what I want to do, but I'm going to do it. So now if I knew I was going to be on damage for, let's just say, a very long time and I'm not going to switch, I wouldn't worry about it. But since I'm always switching this, for me, it's going to be worth it to trade one out. So I've got to find out what I'm going to change to get rid of my damage, and swap in the hook. So as I'm looking through this, I now have to make a decision on what do I want to lose. I don't want to lose any of it, so it's going to be a very difficult decision. Thinking maybe the data, but that 12% EXP is very nice. Actually, probably the scavenger. As of right now, the scavenger's going away. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. So the scavenger is going bye-bye. I'm going to save, because now when I swap back, I can swap back and forth. Now we're going to go to my looting. All right, now, again, no, I don't have the hook, right? So if I switch to looting and then I want to go, say, back to speed, I can't because I don't have the hook on here. So let me go back to my damage. Let's grab my hook. Let's go to looting. Now, this isn't too bad because I get my 200% chance to find implants, so I'm still looting. So with that being said, it's still a looting implant, so I still want it on. But again, I have to pick, what do I get rid of, right? So, I'm going to say probably one of my X-salvages. Now, when I level to 415, I'll have this back, so I'll just put this right back on. But for now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and save. And now I have my setup. So the Hook Implant is very handy for convenience. Is there a negative? Yes, you just saw the negative, right? So you may or may not want to use that, or maybe you have certain setups you don't want that, or maybe you just know that you're going to be sitting on maybe a damaged one for a long time and that's all you have, and you don't have to even worry about putting that on there. That's fine. But if you're like me and you have different setups, that's the negative. So definitely worth it. It's only 400 credits, so it's not like they're charging 1,000 credits. And it definitely has its use. So if you guys are into that, definitely check it out. It's on my opinion, it's a good implant and it's very useful. And for me, it's going to save me some time and just some pain in my ass, to be honest, right? So convenience. So the next thing we're going to look at is the Gut Stitcher. So this is the other weapon. This is 800 credits, so a little pricey. It is an SMG, .55 handgun bullets, 50 round capacity, fast reload, very fast firing, average accuracy, always crits. So if you're a new player, doesn't matter. That makes it so your critical hits, it doesn't even matter if you have any points in this. So it's going to always crit, which is, that could be very valuable to a build. So with mine, it might even be valuable to mine because my mag storm's the same way. So I could probably let my crit go. But anyway, back to the credit shop to keep looking at this. 30 strength, so it doesn't take much strength. 135 machine gun skill to master. 50% PvE armor penetration, so it will be very good against bosses that have armor. 25% chance to stun enemies, so it's going to stun enemies, which is great. And -1 to -20 damage after 8 meters. So up to 8 meters, you don't lose any damage, but then after that, your damage starts to go down. And then shots do not trigger explosive enemies. So that's huge. And explosives, if you shoot them in your face, I'm sure you've done that. I've done it. This is going to prevent them from exploding on you. So it's going to save you some health. So I've already purchased it. It is on. It is GC'd. My stats are max. So we're going to see what this baby can do. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in the inner city and we're going to actually review this and see how it compares to a UWC, an unlimited Wraith Cannon. And what a better time, right? Here's the outpost attack. We're gonna look at a couple things. So where are the closest bandits? We got scarecrows, one right, one down. I'm just looking to see what we have here. And bandits, 3 right, 1 down. Let's go to bandits first. And we're going to put this in single player mode because when I'm testing a weapon, I want to know exactly what damage I'm doing. If you're in multiplayer, you're going to have desync, you're going to lose some of your damage. It's just going to happen. All right, single player. Here we are. And let me look at my inventory real quick. I'm going to show you how that hook implant works. So this is my inventory. I have damage on. Okay, well, I'm going to go looting. I can click load. Boom. I'm ready to go. But as we know, I'm going to go do damage, so I put on my damage stuff. Actually, you know what? Let me go back into that. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do something else for you. This will be a way better review if I do it like this. The reason I put my looting stuff on is my damage. Where's it at now? Where's my damage? I only have 24% damage boost plus... Yeah, 24% damage boost. So, my looting implants make my damage less. So, anyway, that'll give you guys a way better view at this weapon. And that way, you know, any weapon's going to look overpowered when you have all the implants I have on, right? So, I want this to be a fair review. And let me make sure I know where I'm at here. We need to go down 1. And I'll show you why I chose the bandits to test this on. They have an actual health bar, which I can compare and contrast weapons to. Of course, they're on the other side. Go ahead and loot this. May as well loot. I need it for the missions. Or challenges, I should say. Alright, so we're going to test out the Gut Stitcher first. So let's just see what kind of damage this does. So, I mean, we're hurting them. All right, let me try this now. Now, to be fair, I am comparing a $500 gun. Obviously, I believe the Wraith Cannon is keeping more mobs off of me. It was pretty claustrophobic before. But these are it keeps the mobs more at bay. So here's the SMG again. And I just so you guys know, I take a shit ton of damage right now because I have my looting implants on. And with all those X salvages, it makes me take more damage. So my armor is going to be chewed up pretty quickly. But I would say I would still prefer my Mag Storm as far as... Let me do this. Let me switch my... let me try something here. Let's put on... Let's put on our damage. Let's see what this looks like. Again, the Mag Storm is still just... The Mag Storm, oh god. The Mag Storm is very good. It does so much damage. It just makes life easy. See, the Mag Storm just drops their health. So I'd say for bandits, you're probably still going to want to use a Mag Storm. Obviously, it's expensive as hell. I mean, you could do it with that SMG. And you can see, and you gotta look, I have all my damage boosts on, so I would say, you know, it's hurting them for sure. I mean, that just drains them. So, anyway, you can kind of see the comparison with them on that. Let's go ahead and loot these guys real quick, and we'll continue on. Hey! Got to take a snippet of that. That's a nice little surprise. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we already looted the bandits. My armor's pretty hurt, but we'll be alright. Let's test this out up here. Let's let me put off that armor, or put back my implant setup. See, and this is very handy. Again, We're going to put looting on just so you guys can see what it looks like normally. We're going to go over here because I believe there was an event. All right, clear the infected. So we should have... Let me get some aggro here. All right, so here's the Wraith Cannon. So you guys can all see it. With 20% damage boost, right? So anybody can get that. God, I might have to repair, guys. Alright, so I'm keeping them at bay. I'm killing. Pretty smooth, not too terrible. Alright, let's switch it up. Let's get back in the same spot. Again, at least I don't have to worry about those things blowing up on me. I mean, guys, we're chomping through them. Is it a little bit crazier? You know what I mean? Like, they're getting closer to me. I don't feel like I have as much leeway. But again, you're comparing that to an unlimited Wraith Cannon, right? So, is that a fair comparison? I don't really know. I mean, I'd say it's doing pretty damn good. I'm just watching, so sorry guys if I'm not talking. I'm just trying to really see what I think here. It's killing pretty quick. So we're at 171. I'm just trying to see what these updates look like here. 217. So what is that? 70, 80, 90, 100, 70. So about 40k per update. Let's try this. So we're at 292. 348. 417. So 470. Yeah, so I'd say it's about 60% as effective as the unlimited Wraith Cannon. Maybe 70% as effective. You're just not going to get the same experience out of it as you do a Wraith Cannon, that's completely acceptable. I understand that. I think if that's something you're trying to get, then you're going to be upset. You know, it's not supposed to be a unlimited Wraith Cannon, right? It's not a minigun. It's a submachine gun. They're quieter. They're better for looting in buildings. And they're not made for killing like this. You know what I mean? So, it's actually not bad. You know, I mean, am I going to use it? It's probably not for me, right? I have an unlimited Wraith Cannon. There's no need for me to use this. Oh, and here's the other thing that I haven't talked about yet. We'll have to get into it. See those pumpkins? That's part of the Halloween event. Damn, Trick or Treat 2019. Anyway, let's continue on. So when we get back, I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this. Alright, so we made it back. Now let's see what we got here. Pumpkin pie. I should have known. Experimental parts, very nice. We're gonna see. Let's go ahead and sell this stuff. And they went way down in price. So I'm not gonna sell them yet. We'll put them in here for 5,890,000. And this is 94. I wonder if I have one in my... Sorry, guys. Alright, we're good there. Scrap this crap. Alright. So speaking of the Gut Stitcher. It's an SMG. It's 800 credits. It's 7 million for 100 credits, right? So is this worth what, 56 million? 56 million? Well, it depends on a couple things, but realistically, I think for it being a 30 strength, 135 weapon, 50% PvE armor penetration, 25% chance to stun an enemy, I think what it's made for is when you're looting and you're in a building and you're just dealing with a little bit of a horde, I think that's fine. I think that it's a cheaper route. All right, it's not a $500 gun. It's also not a $200 million gun. I think for the price point, I think it's there. I'm curious on how it is in PvP. But I think for what they're asking, I think it is a good value. And let's see what it's going for in here. So it's selling for 60 million or 75 million GC'd. Why am I hearing another siren? It's the one thing I don't like about the different tiers. So many windows pop up. So let me go back to the vendor real quick. Or the yard, I'm sorry. So it was what, 10 million? So I think it's worth it, guys. For 60, 70 million, I think that SMG is worth it. You know, it even looks pretty freaking cool. So overall, our review, I think the Hook Implant is definitely a win. Again, you know, take the pros and cons with that, but it's only 400 credits. And I feel like the SMG is... That's a good gun, dude. It helps bridge the gap between entry and godly, right? Because a lot of people see the mag storms and the wraith cannons, and they're like, well, how do I get 200 million to get that? Well, this gives you a gap, you know, 50 to 100 million to get you halfway there. For 60 or 70 million, I say snag it up. It's a good win. And yeah, so that's my take. I think the Hook is a good. It's good for the cost, and I believe the Gut Stitcher is as well. So we reviewed those two weapons. When we unlock our new saw, the crafting one where you can craft the eviscerator, we will also do a review on that. But I wanted to go ahead and get the reviews out for the Gut Stitcher and the Hook Implant and give you my feedback. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys like the feedback, and yeah, take it as it is. And again, thank you for liking and subscribing to the video. We have to get to 500 subscribers. Please, please subscribe. And I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys keep watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, peace.